I think the point of this exercise is to take a car purchased for less than $10,000 and look after it. Make the car as good a car as it can be and make it last as long as you can. Make it my dream car for as long as I can possibly stay in the seat. My favorite car of all time, if I could have one, would be a 1999, not a 98, not 2000, a 1999 Mercedes-Benz CL500. It's the ultimate engineering exercise. The car is just silly. Price-wise, it was competing with a Bentley Continental and a Ferrari Scaglietti. I mean, it's an absolutely silly price range. Lo and behold, I found one, and eventually it found its way, it was going to find its way to an auction, but it got intercepted along the way. A friend of mine who's a dealer had it, got it for me. I paid $8,800. Spectacular car, loved the car, drove it for a couple of days. Everything I could dream of in a car. Makes my life better for 3 hours a day, every day of my life. What more could you ask from a car? Question is, what can we do for the car to make it better? What can we do for this car to make it last another decade?
Well, first of all, this is not a vehicle that you see every day. There aren't a whole pile of them on the road, but it is a unique vehicle. It's certainly an interesting project to work on. Changing, brake pads and rotors, going with a high quality pad, a good quality rotor. We're changing the tie rods, obviously, being 11 years old and never having any real adjustment there, or seized and beyond moving. And when we're going and putting a high dollar set of tires and rims on a vehicle, we want to make sure that we're able to perform an alignment on it. So we've changed those parts. They're still readily available, so it's not a big problem there. So in a sense of how it compares to other cars like that, no, I mean, we're not getting involved really in the electronics with the car. We're not getting involved in the transmission at all. We're not changing any of those parameters, any of the way those things work. So yeah, wheels and tires, brakes, some suspension work, it's certainly something that, just about anybody can handle. And, I wouldn't want to be put off because of the type of car that it is. We can, it certainly is doable and not a whole lot different than most everything else that's out on the road. But like you said, getting it to last those few more years, we're changing the wheel bearings on it, going to give you a little bit more reliability there, cut down on some of the road noise. Nothing's out of the ordinary, but all, necessary to do. The car's not particularly high mild, even though it's 11 years old, so I would think that the owner's going to get quite a few more years of enjoyment out of this vehicle for a fraction of what it would have cost when it was new.
Tom generally calls me when he gets a project like the Mercedes CL500 that we're doing today. Over the last couple of years, we've done a number of projects with Tom using our Vortex brake pads and the Durastop cross-drilled brake rotors that we supply as well. On this particular application though, because of the weight of the car and the fact that it's not a high-performance vehicle, we felt that a traditional domestic type rotor would be adequate for the application, but we are using the Vortex semi-metallic brake pads that we've used in a number of other of these type of projects. Well, we call it bedding in, and bedding in a brake rotor basically transfers some of the friction material onto the rotor so that the two products mate correctly. That process is done over a 20-30 minute period of time, and that's probably one of the reasons why the shops don't do it, is because they've got to pay a guy to go out there and do that. It'd have to be added into the bill. The proper process, of course, is to go out and take the car up to 60 kilometers an hour, drop it down to 30, take it up to 60, drop it down to 30, do this over a 5 or 10 kilometer roadway, and don't allow the brakes to cool off. Just keep them in that hot, medium hot range, and that will allow the pads to gas off. There is quite amount of solvent in brake pads. It'll allow the solvents to gas off, and it will allow the mating of the two surfaces.